Alright, since it's pretty much been, I don't know, half a year since the CN-148 train separation incident, I decided to basically make a timeline video explaining in full detail what happened before, during, and after my encounter with the split. So on August 21st, 2024, I decided to go rail fanning. I don't typically choose dates to actually rail fan. I just go rail fanning whenever I really want to. But this case, I decided to choose to go rail fanning on this day due to the fact that in a day or the next day, CN would lock out employees and CPKC would have a strike. And I figured if this lasts a long time, I just, decide to rail fan now instead of having to wait, which in the end only lasted 18 hours, not even a full day. But you really can't predict stuff like this. Anyways, the day began, or rather, the rail fanning began around 11 a.m. on that day. I was with another rail fan and just filmed any train that we could. We caught a bunch of GO trains, the typical stuff that you'd see, Via Rail, and typical CN trains. At 11:19 a.m., our first GO train arrived. It was a 6-car train with an F59PH, pulling up the rear. At 12:05, or around maybe 12:04, close around that time, CN 301 slowly crawled its way into the station. This train typically stops here waiting for eastbound traffic to clear, so it has a straight through shot all the way down the Halton sub. However, 4 minutes later, I got word that CN-148 went into emergency around CN Stewarttown. If you have no idea where that is mile 26.4 of the Halton sub. It looks like this. It's a single track bridge. It wasn't until a little bit later that we found out that the train had a train separation. We really didn't have any clue and really didn't gravitate toward the situation, as we've heard of train separations around there. Additionally, around there, there's actually a decent grade, so it's not uncommon for train separations to happen there. There was about a 40-minute gap until the next train came, and the next train was a GO train. 15 minutes after was Via 84 blasting its way through the station on its way to its next station stop of Brampton Go. After that, there was again a decent gap before the next GO train. This train was bound for Kitchener. Again, everything seems pretty normal. And of course, there was another huge gap before the infamous train CN-148 would pass through. But before that, we actually thought that CN-570, a train behind CN-148, would pick up the car that was having an issue. But if 570 did that, this video wouldn't be possible. Nor would the actual CN-148 video be possible either. So, in summary of that, CN-148 essentially recoupled back to that car and proceeded on and thought everything was fine. Until we arrive at 1:44 p.m. CN-148 passed CN-301, which was just sitting there. Again, none of us thought anything. Again, it's not just me at the station, it was me and another person. Anyways, the train passed both of us, and it wasn't until 2 minutes later that we heard the air suddenly gush out from the train. We thought something happened and they just went into emergency. And it wasn't until just a couple seconds later that we saw it.
The train just split!
It's an emergency!
Oh! The train just split!
A autorack completely separated from the rest of its train, and leaving 3 cars behind that specific autorack separated from the train as well. Fortunately, nothing derailed, it was just a train separation. The train separated at 1:46 p.m., and interestingly, the emergency brakes caused the train to actually stop just short of the platform end. This allowed us to actually examine what happened up close, as we didn't want to go into the grass, as that technically would be trespassing, and the platform is actually a safe space since it's actually public.
The Halton is down for today. Look at that.
Oh, that's not good.
Anyways, I really wasn't doing much filming. My friend was, so I managed to get some clips from him, and here we are. Here's a combined version of both of our clips, and also photos.
Yeah, the entire train just split.
At the same time that CN-148 was passing through, CN-301 got the lights to go. However, due to the split, they also stopped. Fortunately though, since 301 was there, the conductor simply hopped onto the side of a car, and 301 simply moved so the conductor could actually reach where the separation happened. Now, I didn't want to get the conductor's face into this, considering the implications of this. However, I did not actually film the proper recoupling, so this is where my friend's clips comes into play. The entire operation from when CN-148 went into emergency and when they recoupled back to the car took about 30 minutes to my surprise. I thought this would take a little longer. I unfortunately did not stay for the departure of CN-148. However, CN-148 allegedly broke again around Bramley GO Station, or mile 11.1 CN Hall West. This is about less than a mile away from where CN-148 would be entering the intermodal terminal, so it would actually be slowing down, so it's interesting, considering it's actually a downward grade from Mount Pleasant all the way to Bramley. Kinda weird how they split again. And no, that's not the end of it. After CN-148 dropped the intermodal cars at Brampton Intermodal Terminal, what CN-148 does is it brings the auto racks from Brampton Intermodal Terminal all the way to Macmillan Yard, which is about 8 miles from where Brampton Intermodal Terminal is. And apparently they broke halfway through that journey as well. They broke around CN Humber, or mile 4.3. It's a single track bridge, however, it's huge. And having an issue on a single track bridge is, well, quite devastating, as no trains could go around you at all. And if you're wondering what auto rack it was, it's BNSF 301120. Anyways, in total, CN-148 broke 4 times in under 30 miles. That's a nightmare for the crew, and it was. The conductor was just not having it that day. I mean, let's be real. Imagine having a lockout in less than 24 hours, and the train that you take, the last train that you take before the lockout, has had an issue for 4 times. Yeah, I'd probably crash out at that moment. Anyways, that is the wacky situation that CN148's separation was on August 21st, 2024. And coincidentally, do I have to say it? I'm gonna say it. Coincidentally, this was, I guess, the first major-ish situation after the Capital City Rail Productions incident of, if you don't know, he derailed a train. Man. Anyways, I hope this clears up. People still think I actually caused this, like... I can't. I just can't. There's no way people thought I actually did something with this. Number one, I don't drive, and mile 26.4 is essentially in the middle of nowhere, by the way. And I would have to have tampered it somewhere else that could possibly be over 100 miles away or more. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video. What do you guys think about the situation? Was it a coincidence that it happened the day before the lockout? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, see ya.